Looks like we have to do a reverse launch.
Hey, hello everyone. Sean Simons, PPG Grandpa. Welcome. Today is Monday. However, this podcast is all about what happened on Saturday, the 8th of February. That day, I went out with my new Angel frame and I went paramotoring in thermals and ridge sword. Yes, thank goodness I got it on video. I'm still working on that. It's taking a little bit longer than I thought. Got the old GoPro out. I'm not going to give you any spoiler alerts, but y'all know how I land and beat the hell out of my frames. So I'm just going to let you know that, well, I took it up and, I broke it in. I didn't break it. I broke it in. It's my first maiden flight on the Angel frame, and man, I tell you, I really liked it. Love the colors. Everybody complimented me on the colors, so that was awesome. Thank you to Andrew Fuller of SkyTapParamotors.com. I bought this frame. Good Lord, when was it? It must have been, a couple months ago? And it took this long to finally swap over my motor from my other frame to this one. I don't know. I guess I've just been really busy. But who hasn't been busy, right? So anyway, I was up there, enjoyed a bunch of flights, or not flights. I enjoyed watching other people paraglide off Buffalo Mountain. It was really nice. Got a lot of good video, and I don't want to paraglide. I don't know why. There's a lot of people that say, go up and paraglide. It'd help you really a lot with your paramotoring. But to me, I'm thinking, if I can launch and get up to 10,000 feet, which I've never gone. I mean, the most I've gone was about 2,500 feet. I don't know why. It's just really nice and comfortable up there. But if I get up to 10,000 feet, cut my motor, I could do a lot of paragliding. However, everyone has said that does both, that paragliding and paramotoring is different. When you're paragliding, I heard that you can feel a mosquito hit your wing. That's how much feeling you have when you're paragliding. But when you have a heavy motor, it's just so solid that you really can't feel what's going on. And if there was a collapse or something, happened, you need to feel that so you can correct it right away. But still, on that same note, I don't have any desire to do any para waiting on top of a mountain, waiting for the wind to be just right to fly off and possibly just glide down to the landing zone. But a lot of people hit these thermals on Saturday and they ended up flying for a good long time. I think my instructor said that he launched and thermaled for about 3 hours. That's pretty awesome. The most I've actually stayed up with one tank of gas, which is about 2 gallons, is about an hour and a half. So my longest flight has been half of what my instructor just does on the weekends when he goes up and paraglides, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But I don't know. I suppose I need some feedback. What do you think, y'all? Do you paramotor and paraglide? Did you start off with paragliding, then paramotoring, or vice versa? Let me know what you think in comments down below, because I'm going to post this on Facebook and YouTube like I normally do. I don't want to take up a bunch of your time, but let me give you, I guess my first impressions on flying the frame, the SkyTap Angel frame. Now, this frame is supposed to be extremely solid. Let me just go over the quick features. It has a comfort bar, so if you land forward, the motor doesn't squish you, which I like, because, you know me. It's like I tend to skid in and stuff, and I'm an old man, so sometimes I trip and fall. Well, I haven't with the motor yet, thank goodness. And it also has really good netting, 500-pound Kevlar, so you can actually stand on it and it will not bend at all and get into the prop, which is really good because I beat the hell out of stuff. It has a double hoop, which means that it's not going to wobble or warp, depending if I, butt drag or land hard or decide to pull up my feet quick and butt drag myself, which I haven't done since my first and fifth flight. I think that's it. Oh, yeah, and on the tach-meter, I just crested over 30 hours of flying paramotors. Woohoo! Anyway, so Let's see what else it is. Oh, I really like it because I can set up the wing, I can set up the motor, I can use the Angel wheels, which is just a dolly from Harbor Freight, to move the paramotor to my launch. And after I land, I can wheel it back to the car. Because I don't know, I just, I just don't have the strength I did as a kid. So if you got tons of strength and you're strong, you probably don't need something like this. And if you don't butt land or butt drag or do anything crazy or turtle, then you probably don't need this frame either. It's a little bit heavier. I think it was like 50 something with gas and motor, but it was only like 12 or something pounds. I put a video out there about the weight. It was really light. I was very impressed. The weight shift on this thing was pretty awesome. I put on 8 motor mounts, so I had almost virtually no vibration, which I really truly enjoy. I don't like well, actually, I don't have any other experience. I've heard a lot of people talk about how the motor vibrates. I hear Tucker on his stuff, when he's talking, it vibrates his back. I don't feel any vibrations. Even though I have good vibrations, I don't feel the vibrations. Let's see. What other fun stuff does it have? I don't know. I like where it sits down. I can strap in. It has a quick release. Oh, I did try that little flight deck thing, and that didn't work. I got some little carabiners that will work. So my next flight, I'll put the little flight deck on. The lights work pretty good, but I didn't stay out long enough to see them at night. I like to land when it's still dark because it seems like every time that it gets dark and I have my my flashers on, my strobes, it's just so dark that I don't land very well, as you may have seen in my couple of my videos. But I like where I can sit down. I like the comfort bars because when I'm up in the air, I stow my brakes and I really I kick back like it's a lawn chair. You know what I need? Because I got the comfort bars, I think I need a little beverage holder and take a drink up there as I'm flying. I might have to do that next time. All right, I'll do that. Beverage holder. So anyways, it was very thermic and I wanted to try flying in thermic conditions again, which I did back when, what was it, a couple of Saturdays ago over at Pinnacle Mountain over in Little Rock, Arkansas. That was really awesome. I enjoyed that. It had I really got my bump tolerance under control because it was really bumpy. So this time when I flew, it bumped, but no problems. I mean, it almost felt like a roller coaster, but I guess I really trust my equipment. I trust my wing because I had the trims all the way in, and I trust my frame and my harness. So I really wasn't afraid. I knew that no matter how much it bumped, even if I took a collapse or something, I would, easily come out of the collapse and, continue to glide. On my little altimeter, I saw that I got up to 3,500 feet, which is my highest so far. I got way up there and I was blowing sideways, which was really cool. So I turned myself towards the wind, had a good tailwind, and my ground speed was 52 miles an hour, which is really interesting because I just saw Tucker got on his last video saying that he went 52 miles per hour. I'm like, well, now I know what it feels like. But I didn't take the trimmers out like he did or push speed bar. I was trims in, had a good tailwind, and I was rolling. The thing that I like the best is the harness. The difference between my other frame and that harness and this frame and the new harness that I got is the padding and the availability and the ability to weight shift. Unbelievable. I mean, I just move my butt a little bit to the right, look right, lean right, pull right, and I just go. Same thing with the left. Same thing, look left, pull left, weight shift, boom, turn. So I'm like, all right, well, how about I stow the brakes, which I usually do because I totally enjoy just kicking back and enjoying myself up in the air. I was able to weight shift extremely well, better than I have in my other frame. And I just shifted my butt over and whoo, I turned. I'm like, what? That's awesome. And so I really enjoy the weight shift. The weight shift is really good. The the bars, because they're so far apart, my instructor said the most dangerous thing about thermaling with a paramotor is going up a thermal and then coming out of it. No, going up a thermal, and then when you come out, you lose weight and tension on the wing, and the wing can surge and collapse. And when that happens, 9 times out of 10, he says, is that you get a riser twist. So I'm thinking, and of course I'm probably wrong, so don't take this as any gospel, because I really don't know, is because I have fixed hang points, the likelihood of a riser twist wouldn't be that bad, and if it was, it'd probably come out pretty quick. And the reason why I'm thinking this is, remember the swings that we had back in the day? You know, if you guys are old like me or ever swung on a swing, the ones that the chains or the ropes were really close to your shoulder, you could really do a spin and then you came out of it, right? Now, I've been in some as a kid that the chains were really wide, had really wide parts, and it was really difficult to spin around in that particular swing. So I'm thinking, well, it's probably the same thing. A lot of the hang points in these paramotors out there, they don't have the fixed hang points, have the swing arms or the J bars. They are closer together. And the closer they are together, the easier it is to do a riser twist. The further apart away it is, and because it's a fixed hang points, it probably is more difficult. And if it did, it probably would come out, pretty easy. Well, easier. And I'm going to do this eventually in a SIV course. So, it's down the line, not today, not tomorrow, but later on when I have even more hours under my belt. I'm trying to get up there as much as I can. I'm trying to get as many hours as I can. And when I do flights, I try to stay up there as long as I can. And this last flight, which was really cool, was very thermic and did some ridge soaring and thermaling the best I could, because, I really don't have training on thermaling. I just did research on YouTube. Don't tell anybody. But like I said, that's the whole reason why I'm telling you guys, don't take anything what I'm doing as instruction, because I'm kind of learning a lot of this stuff on my own. I didn't go to school for, 10 days straight. My instructor trained me on the weekends that I was available, and it's a 3-hour round trip. So I tried to stay up there, a couple days in a row. Sometimes it didn't work because of previous engagements, and sometimes the weather didn't work out very well. And I kind of trained when it was like, bitter cold, 30, 32 degrees. So let me tell you, I've trained in some cold weather. I'm really waiting for summer, because my instructor said that summer is going to be smooth and buttery. And if you are out there in all this crazy weather and thermals and ridge soaring with your paramotor, you're going to have a really good time. Now, thank God nothing's happened, because I'm still looking for a reserve. So I'm not trying to do anything crazy. And once again, I'm not trying to do anything crazy, but don't go without a reserve, of course. I mean, that's what everybody says. Actually, a lot of people, I heard, you don't need to get a reserve until 100 hours. Some people are like, as soon as you get out of school, get a reserve. Well, what do you guys think? Do you need a reserve right away, or do you wait, or what? I'm going to try to get one as soon as possible. Like I said, I just crushed it over my 30 hours. So let's go back to the Angel frame. I really like how sturdy it is. I love the colors. It worked really well for me. And kind of a spoiler alert, I did break it in when I came in for a landing, but you're going to see that when I post that video. It's really crazy. This is like the hardest I ever hit. And I hit so hard that I bounced forward, landed on the comfort bars, which didn't crush me, which is great, and then went all the way forward and kind of teeter-tottered on the comfort bars and the top of the paramotor until I came back down, because the wing was pulling me. There's so much wind. When I got down to the ground, the wing, just ripped. It was like, not ripped like tore, but just shot over me and pulled me towards a pond. And I don't have flotation either, which, I tell you, I swear that I would never fly around water. And it seems like every time I go up, there's water around. And I don't know. Anyway, I am going to leave you with this note. I thoroughly enjoy paramotoring. I enjoy my new frame. I think it's great. One awesome thing about this frame is that if it breaks, the manufacturer will give you free replacement parts. So if you do land hard and break a cage piece, if you do land and turtle, if you do anything and break it, don't worry. All you got to do is get up with Andrew Fuller. He will send you out new pieces, new parts, whatever you want to. That is an amazing guarantee, which is one of the reasons why I got the frame in the first place. No other manufacturer does that. And if you do something crazy and you break a piece, it costs way too much. And I don't want, I want to pay for one thing and that's it. Just beat it up. It's a tank. I don't have to worry about it. And Andrew said, if you listen to this podcast and you give Andrew Fuller a call or go to skytappparamotors.com, that he will give you $200 off your complete setup if you say, hey, PPG Grandpa sent you. So if you want an awesome setup, get up with Andrew Fuller. Man, I tell you, you just can't go wrong. You know what? It's almost time for me to go to work, but I do have someone else that we started to do a nice little podcast, but we got something happened where we're not able to finish. We got about 7 minutes in. It's Cormac Obrien. I don't know if you know him or not, but I'm going to let you listen to this. And thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you on the flip side. And here is part 2, Cormac Obrien. Unfortunately, we just got about 7 minutes of a podcast done before something happened and we were not able to finish. So let me give you a quick background on Cormac. He has been a paramotor pilot for the last 5 years, but he's been a paraglider and tandem pilot for the last 17 years. He's a photographer and a gear junkie, and the countries that he's flown in is amazing. Of course, here in the United States, Colombia, Mexico, Ireland, Spain, and this is the coolest part. He flew a tandem off the summit of Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. Dude, I tell you, I want to climb that, but now that you said that you did a tandem off of it, I might think about doing a tandem. That actually sounds really amazing. But anyways, here's about the 7 minutes that we got in last time, and thank you guys for listening. So there are a bunch of questions out there that people are always asking, like, where can you fly PPG? Is a license required to fly? What kind of fuel do you use in a PPG? How long does it take how long does a tank of gas last? And, there's a lot of basic questions out there. So I guess generally answering some of these questions, like, where can you fly a PPG?
Wow, that's a good question because, every state has different airspaces. And I am by no means any expert on airspaces. I have a basic understanding of the upside down chocolate cake kind of thing, A, B, and C zones. I know there's more than that. And honestly, I'm probably not the expert on that one. I only know where I'm allowed to fly here where I live. And then there's plenty of uncharted territory and more open states where you're in no man's land and no one's going to bother you. That I think we're still kind of sneaking into, but obviously that create problems with landowners and or land management people. For example, 3 hours for me, I'm in Southern California in Santa Barbara. 3 hours for me, there's a site called Cayucas, and it's this beautiful beachside community, and it is a big open beach. There's an unincorporated beach where there's nothing out there, and then there's plenty of beach where there's houses. And there is a school from Utah, leave them out, that was going out there to do all of their lessons with their students. And they were just kind of ripping up and down the coast all the time. And it caught the attention to the harbor master at the harbor just a mile or two south of that site. And it got so bad that this harbor master would show up in plain clothes and be like, hey, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're teaching you how to paramotor. Oh, that's so cool. Great. He showed up in plain clothes, gathered as much information as possible, and then showed up the next day in uniform with, I think, some sort of paperwork saying you guys can't do this here.
Yeah, and he could have just said, we don't want you to fly there, and they would have said, okay, no problem.
Right. And I'm not sure the rest of the story and how it landed, but I don't believe they're training out there anymore. But there is a lot of local pilots in the area, and free flyers and paramotor pilots that kind of just stick to the rules. They know where the guy lives in town, so they don't motor over his house, and they definitely don't motor over the harbor. They get high, stay high. They don't buzz the beach. They don't create any panic amongst beachgoers. And it's really interesting. We're such a niche sport. No one really knows what the layman people don't really know what the legality is. And then in my part of town, in Santa Barbara, Ventura, Carpinteria, it's all beachside community, we kind of have carte blanche of flying up and down the coast, except in the case of the airport traffic. And as long as we avoid that, we're pretty cool. But I had an experience down in Carpinteria, which is another wealthy, sleepy little beachside community, where I was flying around, and I wanted to see how high I could get that day. I got stinking high. I ended up running out of gas, and I landed on a state park beach. And I just kind of hid my gear and got a ride to my truck and came back to my equipment to 3 state parks officers sitting there.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, no, am I in trouble? And one of the guys was like, hey, can I have a word with you? I'm like, yeah, sure, what's going on? And they said, I know it's not you, but there's been some guy flying around way too low, buzzing people's heads on really busy beaches, flying over the campsites, all the way down from Ventura, which is like 20 miles away, all the way up to here to Carpinteria.
Oh,
and
no.
When I find him, I'm going to arrest him. I'm like, oh, wow, bummer. And then in my head, I'm like, well, doesn't FAR Regulation 104.3 say as long as we're not flying over in uninhabited areas, or as long as we're flying over uninhabited areas and not creating danger and whatever, we can kind of do what we want as long as we're not in illegal airspace.
Right.
So I don't think this guy knew that. I didn't mention that. And so he said some guy was flying around a trike who had a big, long, white beard like Santa Claus coming out of his helmet, was coming around. And I'm like, I've never seen the guy before, and I motor here all the time. And so, long story short, he's like, yeah, you're cool, no worries, whatever, what's your name? I'd say, yeah, my name's Cormac. And then he lowers the sunglasses, and he's like, hey, it's Josh. Like, who? Like, dude, we went to school together, UCSB, class of 2000. I'm like, oh, get out of here, what's up? I haven't seen you sober since. Anyway, small town, so we're cool, but as long as if you're creating a lot of attention to yourself, you're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
And so I put the word out in our local flying club, hey, whoever this guy is, and we don't know who he is still, he comes up from the south. And so that being said, we're really careful and respectful of kind of airspaces and people because we don't want to get a lot of attention to ourselves. Because obviously in the States, it's such a more litigious society, and all it takes is one bad landing or one person to get injured, and they shut it all down. And the other thing that people don't know is that free flyers and USHPA have, certain deals made out for launches and landings and whatnot. And paramotoring is technically in a whole different class. So if you screw up paragliding, you might screw up something that free flyers have been arrangements free flyers have had in place for decades. That's the case here. We've had hang gliders that have been flying here 30, almost 40 years. And if you were to jeopardize their work, their hard work, and their relationships with the city and the county, that's a bummer for everyone.
Oh, yeah,
so
for sure.
It's really important to be respectful of that. And my advice to anyone looking to fly in a new site they haven't flown before is just reach out to the locals. The locals will know generally all the rules. And so that's super important. And anytime, I don't care. I mean, I've only been flying 17 years, which is not long compared to some of my friends, but I do that anyway. If it's a new site, I've never flown there before, I'm going to call the locals. I'm like, hey, I'm coming to town. What do I need to know? I'd love to fly with you. And that just continues the kinsmanship in our community, and I think that's super important. It doesn't matter if you're a badass acro motor racing cross-country pilot at all. You should still always reach out to the locals. Like, I got this, because if you want to go fly solo, you can do that, but if you're on a new site, you're just adding more risk factor.
All right, so once again, thank you very much, y'all, for listening to the podcast. I really, truly appreciate you. You can always go to paratalk.org and see all the different episodes that we have done. If you guys have done an interview and you have a good recording of it, or if you want to be interviewed, just get up with me at ppggrandpa@gmail.com. and we will get you on the air with your own personal interview that you've done. If you want to be interviewed, or if you know somebody else that wants to be interviewed, please please email me. And also, if you don't know where I am located, I'm mostly on YouTube, but you can get me at ppggrandpa.com. Yeah, there we go. We got it. Don't yell at me. Once again, thank you so much for listening to me. I know sometimes I ramble on, but I really love paramotoring, and I hope that this helps you guys out there, and y'all just are either waiting to go out there and start paramotoring and you have questions and you're listening to this, or you are a seasoned pilot. If you are listening to this, I truly appreciate you. And if you have any tips or tricks, please email me, ppggrandpa@gmail.com. Let me know. Let me get you on the air. Let me help you help other people with this paratalk.org. Have an awesome day, and we will catch you soon. Later.
I was aiming way over here, and that wind just frickin' took me way over there. Ooh, it's windy. It is so windy down here. Oh, I looked down. I think that's what it was. I'm looking down at my feet instead of looking forward. Damn it, I think that's what happened. Why can I not remember that shit? See right now, ain't it? How you doing with your prettiness? Well, I tell you what, when it's butter smooth, I'll be a champion. Because I'm trying to deal with all this crap when it's wind. Oh no. Got a little something on my prop. What the hell happened there? I have to look. But I got this frickin' frame. Freaking abuse the hell out of it. Alright, so I just wrecked this one, and oh no, my lights. Boy, how did I fall? I went all the way forward, and this thing freaking saved me. Ain't that a bite? Huh. Oh. Why are my lights not on? Did I use up all my lights? Or did I break them?